Before learning how to play Wild Tigers I've Known by Emily Jane White, it is pretty important to understand the layout of the song, which is the ever so typical verse, chorus, bridge, verse. This is important because the verse is a way it uses a short chord progression, which I will call the 3-chord progression, and then the longer chord progression, which has 5 chords, so it shall be known as the 5-chord progression. The verse just repeats the 5-chord progression twice, and then so the second verse is the 3-chord progression, followed by the 5-chord progression. Verse is the 5-chord progression repeated twice, and then the bridge chord progression, and then the last verse, again, is the 3-chord progression followed by the 5-chord progression. So now that that is out of the way, there is a certain pattern that the left hand uses for the entire piece, since the piece uses no black keys at all. If your fingers are all on adjacent white keys, it's going to follow the pattern 5 and then 1 and 3 at the same time, and that just alternates back and forth. So now that you also know the pattern that the left hand uses, we can go on to the first half of the intro. So the intro is, for the left hand, is that pattern on a D minor chord, which would be using the notes D, F, and A. So just that pattern on a D minor chord. The right hand is doing something similar. It's kind of like taking apart the left hand chords and playing it on top of that left hand thing. So using the same chord, the same keys, D, F, and A, 1, 3, 1, 5, 1, 3, 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 1, 5, 1, 3. And then you just have to learn the timing, and it sounds like this. 1, 5, 1, 3, 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 1, 5, 1, 3. So that is the first half of the intro. The second half of the intro is repeated later in the song, and what the left hand is doing is what I named the 5-chord progression, because it is 5 different, where your hand moves 5 times. So it starts out on an A minor chord, moves up to a C chord, moves back down to an F chord, moves up to a D chord, and then up to another F chord. So 5 chords using the pattern. So while your left hand is doing that, the right hand is playing melody. Which repeats twice. So C, B, A, C, C, E, D, C, D, A, G, A, G, A, C, and it just repeats again. So at the same time. And then there's a transition to the 3-chord progression. So your left hand is just going to play an E chord in the pattern, while your right hand just plays a B. So going into that. your left hand, starting the 3-chord progression, is going to play D. The chords in the 3-chord progression would be a D, down to an F, and then back up to the D. So, intro, going into the verse. And then the 5-chord progression. While your left hand is playing all those chords for the parts that have vocals over them, meaning the right hand isn't going to be playing the melody you're singing so as not to be distracting, your right hand is just going to mirror the left hand chords, just played all at once. So instead of being played, it's going to be played all at once. So now I'm going to play the intro, the first verse, and the chorus. Remember that the chorus is the 5-chord progression repeated twice, and the verse is the 3-chord progression followed by the 5-chord progression. Silence is a power and a tool for you. Wild tigers I have known, they send me down, messing around. Chorus. You keep your heart from your chest, 'cause it'll be gone, just like the rest. 'Cause it's a man's world, say all the right words, and hold your heart from your chest. The silence and the color and their beauty stands right and still for you. So after that, there is another transitional 2-chord thing. So you leave off on that F chord, and then you just go up to a G chord after repeating that F chord a couple times. So your left hand's doing that pattern on the F chord, and then just does the same pattern on the G chord, and the right hand just repeats the F chord 3 times, and then just goes up to the G chord. And so then after that happens, it goes back to the second half of the intro again. And so that repeats twice before going on to the second verse, and then another chorus. And then after that second chorus, it does that same transition. And then does a different melody thing before the bridge. This second melody thing, right hands, is just C, A, E, D, G, E, F, C, A, E, D, G, E, F, and then it changes slightly. C, A, E, D, C, D, A, and then repeats that again. C, A, E, D, C, D, A. And the left hand is essentially playing those same chords. So C, A, left hand plays an A chord. E, D, plays a D chord. G, E, F, F chord. because the left hand still does the same chords. And then it's that transition again. Before it starts the bridge, which is only 3 chords, in F, a G, and then an A. And it repeats F, G, A. Then on the third time it repeats F, G, A. It goes down to G for Bringing You Love. So from the words for truth spoken from mouth in his name. For truth spoken from mouth in his name. Now there will be wise men singing, bringing you luck. Now there will be wise men singing, bringing you luck and bringing you luck. And it goes back to the last verse. So the 3-chord progression. Now it's the precious summertime, hand in pocket, bright light, then the 5-chord progression. Wild tigers I have known, they send me down, messing around. And then it's that F to G transition. And then just that D minor chord in both hands at all at the same time. And that is the entire song of Wild Tigers I Have Known by Emily Jane White.